Hey everyone, and welcome back to Lokshinfo. Today we begin a deep exploration into the evaluation and history of integrated circuits, the tiny chips that have transformed our world. To understand how we evaluate ICs today, we first need to appreciate their origins and the problems they were designed to solve. Before integrated circuits existed, computers relied on vacuum tubes. These were large, fragile glass cylinders that acted as switches, controlling the flow of electricity to perform calculations. While revolutionary in their time, vacuum tubes had serious limitations. They consumed enormous amounts of power, generated excessive heat, and were prone to failure. Imagine a computer that filled an entire room, required constant maintenance, and could only perform basic arithmetic at a snail's pace. That was the reality of early computing in the 1940s, and it quickly became clear that something better was needed. The invention of the transistor in 1947 at Bell Labs was the first major step towards solving this problem. Transistors were tiny compared to vacuum tubes, consumed far less power, and were much more reliable. They quickly replaced vacuum tubes in radios, televisions, and early computers. Suddenly, machines could be smaller, faster, and more efficient. But even with transistors, building complex circuits was still a challenge. Engineers had to manually wire thousands of transistors together, along with resistors and capacitors, to create functional systems. This process was not only time-consuming but also error-prone, and as circuits grew more complicated, the wiring became a tangled nightmare. The dream was clear: find a way to integrate all these components into a single, compact unit. Imagine if instead of wiring thousands of parts by hand, you could build them all together on one piece of material. This idea was revolutionary, and it set the stage for the birth of the integrated circuit. By the late 1950s, brilliant engineers were racing to make this dream a reality. Jack Kilby at Texas Instruments built the first working prototype in 1958 using germanium to combine multiple components on a single chip. His invention proved that integration was possible. Just a year later, Robert Noyce at Fairchild Semiconductor improved the design by using silicon and planar technology, which allowed circuits to be manufactured more reliably and at scale. Together, Kilby and Noyce are remembered as the fathers of the integrated circuit, each bringing unique innovations that transformed electronics forever. This was the turning point. The stage was set, the need was clear, and the world was ready for a breakthrough that would change electronics forever. In the next part, we'll see how integrated circuits moved from prototypes into mass production, powering radios, calculators, and eventually the first microprocessors, while also learning how engineers began to evaluate ICs not just by their novelty, but by their performance, reliability, and cost. After Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce proved that circuits could be integrated onto a single chip, the world of electronics changed forever. What had once been bulky, fragile, and expensive suddenly became compact, reliable, and scalable. Radios, calculators, and early computers quickly adopted integrated circuits, shrinking from room-sized machines into devices that ordinary people could carry or place on a desk. This was the beginning of the age of miniaturization, and it marked the true arrival of modern electronics. Through the 1960s, engineers developed small-scale integration (SSI) and medium-scale integration (MSI), where dozens to hundreds of transistors were placed on a single chip. These chips powered logic circuits, calculators, and the first digital systems. As manufacturing techniques improved, large-scale integration (LSI) became possible, packing thousands of transistors onto a chip. This leap enabled more complex systems, including memory chips and the first microprocessors. Suddenly, computing power could be concentrated into a single chip, and the dream of affordable, portable computing was within reach. This was also the era when engineers began to evaluate ICs not just by novelty, but by measurable criteria. Performance became a key factor. How fast could the chip process instructions, and how efficiently could it handle tasks? Power consumption was equally important, especially as devices became portable. Reliability mattered too because chips had to withstand heat, stress, and long operating hours without failure. Functionality was judged by how many features could be integrated, from logic gates to memory cells. And of course, cost determined whether ICs could be mass-produced affordably. These 5 pillars, performance, power, reliability, functionality, and cost, became the foundation of IC evaluation. By the early 1970s, the microprocessor emerged as the ultimate example of integration. Intel's 4004, released in 1971, contained 2,300 transistors and could perform 60,000 operations per second. While primitive by today's standards, it revolutionized computing by placing the essential functions of a CPU onto a single chip. This breakthrough showed that ICs were not just components. They were complete systems capable of powering entire machines. The integrated circuit was no longer just a clever invention, it had become the backbone of modern electronics. From consumer gadgets to aerospace systems, ICs were evaluated, refined, and improved with each generation. The groundwork was laid for the next big leap. Very large-scale integration, or VLSI, which would pack millions of transistors onto a single chip and give birth to the personal computer revolution. By the 1970s, integrated circuits entered the era of VLSI, very large-scale integration, where thousands, then millions of transistors could be packed onto a single chip. This leap gave birth to microprocessors, memory chips, and the personal computer revolution. The microprocessor was especially transformative because it placed the essential functions of a computer's central processing unit onto one chip, making computing power small, affordable, and portable. Around this time, Gordon Moore, co-founder of Intel, observed a trend that became known as Moore's Law. Transistor counts on chips would double roughly every 2 years. For decades, this prediction held true, driving exponential growth in computing power. Each new generation became faster and more efficient, fueling breakthroughs in science, communication, and entertainment. The rise of personal computers in the 1980s and 1990s was powered by this relentless scaling, and ICs became the backbone of modern life. As transistor counts soared into the billions, fabrication techniques evolved. Engineers used advanced photolithography to etch fine patterns onto silicon wafers, while new materials improved speed and efficiency. Multi-core processors allowed chips to perform multiple tasks simultaneously, while specialized ICs like GPUs and TPUs emerged to handle graphics and artificial intelligence workloads. These innovations expanded the role of ICs far beyond traditional computing, powering smartphones, cloud servers, and autonomous systems. Today, integrated circuits operate at nanometer scales, with transistor gates measured in just a few atoms. They are the foundation of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and even quantum research. Modern ICs are evaluated on 5 pillars: performance, power consumption, reliability, functionality, and cost. Performance measures speed and efficiency. Power consumption determines suitability for portable devices. Reliability ensures chips can withstand stress and operate consistently. Functionality reflects how many features can be integrated, and cost decides whether a chip can be mass-produced affordably. These criteria guide every generation of ICs. The journey from vacuum tubes to atomic-scale chips shows one powerful truth: electronics evolve, but the integrated circuit continues to shape the future of innovation. Each breakthrough built upon the last, creating progress that connects people, powers industries, and drives civilization forward. And this story is far from over. The next chapters will be written in neuromorphic computing, advanced materials, and AI-driven architectures. Thanks so much for watching this deep dive into the evaluation and history of IC technology. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Lokshinfo, your channel for clear, engaging insights into electronics, semiconductors, and the future of technology. Stay tuned because the next big story in chips is coming soon.